Hello, everyone. I'm Andy, coming to you from the United Kingdom.
And I'm Scott, coming to you from sunny San Juan, Puerto Rico today.
Oh, that's going to be an exciting one to find out a little bit more about. But welcome, everyone, to the Tea and Timbits podcast, Global Perspectives in Business Development to help you prosper. So, I'm really curious, Scott. What takes you there to Puerto Rico?
Yeah, it's a road show today. May have a little bit of a different audio setup, but I'm here for a partner conference. We belong to a software partnership, and we're in that ecosystem. And a couple times a year, we get together and just sort of share notes and learn about the product and run some roundtable conversations to help us all sort of inform the development of that product and insights about the market and whatnot as well.
Oh, that's exciting. Do you have any exciting stories from there that you wish to share
Well,
with us?
yeah, I think it's worth just sort of reinforcing. I know we've done lots of topics around events. This one's a little bit of a different style. It's more professional development, but I guess
Okay. Yeah.
still very relevant. But incredible value in terms of all the sort of side conversations that we've been able to have. The in-person is so much different than the virtual conversations that you have throughout the day. Sitting down, chatting with somebody, and just sort of letting the having time and space for conversations to organically develop has been super valuable. And I think it's very hard to measure the value of
Yeah.
that sometimes. But it just being able to connect with the executives that are here and the other partners that are here has really been super.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
No, as you know, I'm a big fan of these type of events, especially if they're run properly, or if
Yep.
you're able to develop them so that they're of value to you if they're not run properly. So,
What's really neat is that it's a routine. It happens every
mm,
6 months, roughly, and we know who's going to be here. We've met each other before.
mhm.
These are competitors that are in the room with us, but we have become friends, and
Yeah.
we get to know each other, and we are very open about many things together. That challenges and opportunities that are we're all facing, and we all can support each other on. So again, super valuable.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to talk about this week, Scott?
Yeah. So, well, Andy, thank you for asking. I know that you have taken a new leap and launched a new venture for yourself. And in the sort of pre-show chit chat we were doing, I thought, you know what, let's record a conversation about you sort of making that leap and
Okay.
what
Yeah.
that's all been about for you, because I think this is something that is going to be really relevant to a lot of people that sort of listen and think about
Mm,
business development and business growth. I think it's not necessarily just about a huge leap. I mean, you've launched a new brand, a new business, and
yeah.
really done something into a new market, a new industry, which is quite,
Correct.
uh, im- you know, um, quite a thrill. But not necessarily what everybody's going to do. But I think in what we do on a regular basis, we're all making sort of new bets on ourselves and in our roles. So I think it's going to be relevant. At least I hope so. So, if
Yeah.
you'll indulge me, Andy,
Of
can
course.
we have a little chat about that?
We can. We can.
Hmm.
No. So, just to put it a little bit into perspective. Essentially, I've been in the same industry or working with customers in the same industry for about 20 years, and I've enjoyed it. I've been able to travel around the world, meet lots of different people, get involved in lots of exciting projects, work with lots of different companies, and see many of them grow and develop and build some very strong relationships that have often evolved into friendships as well. So that has been very positive. But I got to a point, sort of middle of last year, and I felt that do I want to continue to do the same thing for the next 20 years or the next
Hmm.
40 years or however long I wish to continue working for? And and I just felt no, No,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I do. I think it's time for a change. I think a lot of people go through that, and yes, it can be, branded as a whole midlife crisis thing, and you could go down the road and buy a Porsche like some people do, or go and do many other things that people do to deal with their midlife crisis
Mhm.
scenarios. But I thought, well, I don't feel in crisis because I'm very happy with my life and the way that things have
Mhm.
developed, and I just felt that I wasn't doing the thing that I wanted to be doing. And I thought, well, rather than feeling like that for another 20 years, just do something about it. So I spent some time, not just rushing into it overnight. I spent some
Mhm.
time looking into it. Is it possible? Is it practical to make these changes, and how can I take the experience and the skills that I have been using over the last 20 years and apply them into this new industry, which is completely different to the industry that I've been working in.
Can like I think for the listeners, just to make this quite
Mm.
practical, let's get specific about it. So you
Yeah, okay.
previously have been in sort of the
Maritime, energy,
shipping,
and logistics
maritime,
industry, yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
supporting those businesses and business growth and whatnot. And so I guess you've learned a lot from that industry and the processes and structures and approaches that make them work more effectively, especially in a
Correct, yeah.
sales position. And so, what's this new industry, Andy?
So so now I'm pivoting into the music industry, but not
Hmm.
just any part of the music industry, very specifically a micro niche within the music industry, which is in the heavy metal and punk genre of
That's
the
amazing.
music industry.
Well, very big pivot, very big turn
Mm.
for you there. Why did you think that there was an opportunity there? Is it just a passion and you want to go there, or what have you uncovered, or what was the insight there that said, "I think there's a business opportunity here"?
Well, the new music business is a business. It is an
Right.
industry that has been through a lot of transition,
Hmm.
which is something I'm very familiar with working with, and that has been a very quick and a very shocking transition to the industry. And
In what way?
it's,
What do you mean by that?
well, just take, for example, the introduction of streaming
Right.
services. I mean, that's completely changed the way that, record sales and the traditional relationship between artists and and the business side of the industry as well.
Is it
Um,
is it is there more onus on the artists themselves, or is there still a structure in the industry that has sort of production houses and agents and reps and things like that
yeah,
that
so
you need in order to be produced?
the structure is still there, but it is also possible for artists to self-release and self-manage and self-promote and
Right.
and so on as well. The levels of success that they will get, will vary about who picks up on it, who hears it, what
Right.
relationships they have, and so on. And but it's the industry as a whole. I mean, and I don't want to make a whole episode about the
Yeah.
music
So like,
industry, of
so,
course,
so tell me.
but
Let's get
essentially
let.
that there's that because the industry is in transition, they're needing to look at their businesses very differently. So from the business side, they need to start looking at their businesses differently, about how they can run those businesses differently based on 50, 60 years of experience and growth and success, and then suddenly in the last 5 or 6 years it's completely pivoted, and the way that you interact with the with the artist, and the way that the artists can interact with the industry, and the way that the industry needs to act as well, and the opportunities of making money, those
Mhm.
have all changed, developed, and often very quickly, and not necessarily with so much structure or clarity around how to use those in the best way. So
Right.
the business side of things need a lot of help, but also the artists need a lot of help as well, because if they're reading about how to succeed in the music industry, and
Hmm.
that information was published 2 or 3 years ago, it's
Right.
outdated.
Right.
It's
Right.
not relevant, and
So let's come back to
mm.
sort of the opportunity that you saw for yourself to make a business for yourself in this space. Where do you fit into that, and what's the opportunity there?
Yeah, well, I have the advantage, of course, is that I'm not going into it cold. I've been personally passionate about music for a very long time. I was lucky enough to grow up in London in the 90s, and had a lot of friends who were in the in the indie music scene at the time, and so of course I knew the industry from a young age and have connections that have developed either into successful artists or into other people within the industry. So as I say, I'm not going into it cold. About 10 years ago, I started working on logistics projects that were to do with event logistics, and so those
Hmm.
things
Hmm.
involved festivals, tours, and things like that as well. So those have also helped to build up my sort of my global network. I just felt that a lot of the skills, a lot of the experience, and a lot of the challenges that I see in the in the various companies across maritime logistics and energy,
Yeah.
those are business challenges.
Right.
And you go to a music industry conference. I was in one a few weeks ago in Oslo. They are having the same challenges. They are having the same discussions that any other industry are having about how to be more efficient in business, how to make more sales, how to grow their business, and how to operate more efficiently.
Right.
Those challenges are there in any industry. It doesn't matter what industry you're working with, and that's why our podcast is so popular, because people listen to it from all different industries.
Right.
They're able to apply the things that we talk about into their industry. Yes, they need to adapt it slightly,
Right.
but you and I have a lot of shared experiences, and we don't work in the same area at all, and we never have.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of things that cross over that really match. And I thought, well, stop focusing on something that I just fell into 20 years ago, and actually take those passions that I enjoy in my free time and actually take some value back to that industry from the
Right.
experiences and the skills that I've built up over the time, and hopefully help some people to be successful, including myself, in that industry.
Well, it's very exciting. I think it's a very bold move, and congratulations on taking that leap. What are you most hesitant and where are your hesitations, and what are you maybe reluctant about that you need to make sure you watch out for?
Yeah, I think it's always very scary to take a leap away from something that you're comfortable with, something you're familiar with, and to go into something new. And I think that's why a lot of people don't change, even if they're in an industry they're not happy with or in a job that they're not happy with. Stepping away from that can be a very, very scary thing,
Yeah.
because going into uncertainty is very difficult, and it is very
Right.
scary. I think the key for me is going to be just making sure that I don't go, "Oh, it's getting a little bit difficult," and then I'll go back to doing what I
Hmm.
was doing
Hmm.
before because it's easy.
Right.
And I think that's the thing I'm scared of the most, is that when it gets a bit hard, I'll
Uh,
go
just
back into
go back
going
to your
into the
comfort zone.
comfortable
Yeah.
things. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't want to do
Yeah.
that. So I'm sort of holding myself accountable not to do that. And I went out a few weeks ago with with a post and public post on LinkedIn to say that
Right.
I am changing
This
this
is who I
industry. I
am.
am doing this
What I'm doing.
differently.
Yeah.
And I did that deliberately, not because I necessarily had something specific to say at that time, but I thought it was really important for me to hold myself accountable, that no, I'm
Make
not
this
doing that
statement.
other thing
Yeah.
anymore. I am now doing this new thing.
Right.
Because then it's going to because to go back into it would be, first of all, to say well, actually I might be doing this other thing as well, and now
Right. Right.
it's
Right.
it gives a very strange message to the market. It gives a very bad message to me. I'll end up getting stuck in limbo, and then things everywhere would not be good, because I wouldn't be giving anything my full attention. So
Right.
it's the key of working through, what is it? I think Seth Godin. He calls
Mm.
it the dip. You got to work through that bit, because that's going to come. Where you're going to end up in this hole, in this dip that is going to be very challenging, and that's when people give up. But
Right.
if you
Right.
keep going, that's when the really good stuff can start to happen.
Right.
And it's just making sure I don't fall into that trap that everyone often falls
Well,
into
I
when
think
they
I think
do these things.
I think your point there is sometimes the trap is inevitable.
Hmm.
There's sort
Yeah.
of unpredictability and the cycle to these things. So knowing that it's likely to happen, and
Mm.
being mentally prepared to just keep going, is, I think, part of the mindset that you've adopted, and I think that will serve you well. I think it will. I mean, not to play devil's advocate, but it will be important not to blindly pursue everything through that bit, but making
Absolutely, yeah,
sure
that's
that
right.
it is a critical review of the situation, and
Correct, yeah.
um, and an honest assessment of the opportunity and the challenges and what it's
Mm.
going to take to continue to venture on. But I have complete faith that you'll be able to thrive and prosper there. Great chat. I'm sure we'll come back to it many times and borrow upon those experiences and new challenges to share with everybody that's listening. So thanks for letting us explore that topic a little bit more with you, Andy. Appreciate it.
No, thanks very much, Scott. And I hope that it brings some value to people who are a little bit uncertain about their future, their current lives, and what to do, and gives them the confidence that it is possible. Even if you've
Yeah.
been doing the same thing for for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, as I had been, it is possible to do something different. But just don't rush into it. Just take some time to build those plans and go
Yeah,
into it
do it with intention.
confidently.
Don't
Yeah,
just sort of
correct.
pop out of
Yeah,
bed one day.
yeah.
Because
Thanks
to
very
the
much, Scott.
outside world, it
Sorry.
will look like you just sort of popped up one day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Andy. Thanks, everybody. If you want to connect with us and listen to more episodes, please go to tandtimbits.com. Follow us on LinkedIn. We very much appreciate your input. Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.